ranking every single playable character in Call of Duty Zombies from worst to best. Before we get started with the video, there is a couple things I actually want to say. Number one, if you guys disagree with this list, please don't go down in the comment section below and write a hurtful thing, and please don't dislike. It pisses me off when people dislike and write hurtful things in the comment section below just because they actually just don't agree with the list. That pisses me off. It's someone's opinion. It's going to be my opinion, so you do not have to agree. If you disagree, that is fine, but please don't, drop a dislike, and please don't write anything hurtful in the comments. I know there's people out there who are actually going to do this, but just try not to. I'm also going to be connecting the Ultimates and Primus crew together, so when I get to Richtov and Nikolai Dempsey and Takio, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the Ultimates version of them and the Primus version of them. I'm not going to rank the 1.0 separately, I just find that a big waste of time. So I have all 24 of the playable characters in Zombies ranked from worst to best. So let's just jump right into the video. Coming in at the worst character of all time, coming in at the number 24 spot, we have Danny from Call of the Dead. Now, Call of the Dead is a map that I barely played. On BO1, I would play maps like Ascension, Kino. I would not really play Call of the Dead, so I don't really know much about the Call of the Dead crew, so I don't really know much about Danny, but from my time actually playing Call of the Dead, I just didn't really like Danny at all. He's definitely the worst character out of the whole Call of the Dead crew, and he's definitely the worst character in all of Zombies. His quotes were awful. I just don't really like him that much. At the number 3 spot, we have Robert from 5. Now, when I look at the 5 cast, I see a lot of badass characters here. I see JFK, who was a president. I see Richard Nixon, another president. And then I see Fidel Castro, who was a prime minister of Cuba. So these are some pretty badass characters here. And then we got Robert. And honestly, yeah, his job is still pretty cool. He was the U.S. Secretary of Defense from 1961 to 1968, but his job isn't nearly as badass as JFK, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro. Not only that, he's just not really a good character. I don't find him funny at all. I just don't like playing as him. Next up, we have Jessica Rose. Jessica Rose is an awful character. I really dislike her in Shadows of Evil. I wish she was not there. She definitely brings the map down. Every time I play Shadows in solo, it pisses me off so much just because I always hear that intro cutscene and I always hear Jessica Rose saying, "Hey you," and I hear that over and over again. I do love Shadows, so I do play it a lot on solo, and I always hear her say, "Hey you," and that honestly pisses me off. I find her voice very, very annoying. She is an awful character. Like I said before, she definitely brings down Shadows. Shadows, I think it's one of the best maps of all time. It's a great, great map, but Jessica Rose definitely brings it down. At the number 21 spot, we have Marlton from the Transit crew. Now, I really do like the Transit crew. I find the majority of the characters in the Transit crew great characters. They're all, funny. They're all very interesting characters. I do really enjoy the characters in the Transit crew. Besides Marlton, I really don't like him. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I just don't like Marlton. He's definitely the worst character in the whole entire Transit crew. Now, something very interesting that I found out that I do find very weird, apparently Misty has a crush on Marlton. Now, first of all, I don't know why she would ever have a crush on this guy. This is a very weird guy, so I don't really know why anybody would ever have a crush on Marlton, but apparently Misty does. I definitely find that very weird, but overall, Marlton is just not a good character. At the number 20 spot, we have another character from Call of the Dead. I didn't really enjoy the map that much, so all of the characters are going to be pretty high up on this list, but this character is Michael. Similar to Danny, I find Michael very annoying. I find all of the characters in Call of the Dead really annoying, but Michael and Danny are definitely the two most annoying. I just don't really like Michael that much. Similar to Danny, he's just, boring character, not funny at all. I just don't really like him as a character. Next up, we have a character from Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead obviously is a great map, so a lot of people might hate me for actually putting a Mob of the Dead character up this high in the list, but this character is Billy from Mob of the Dead. Now, similar to the Transit crew, I do really enjoy the Mob crew, except for Billy. He's not really a great character. Pretty much all of the characters in Mob of the Dead have a badass background. Billy's background is not really badass. It's still pretty crazy background, but it's not as badass as the other characters. He's kind of a boring character that I just don't really like. He does like Sal, and he actually looks up to Sal, which I find pretty cool, but overall he's just not really a great character. He's definitely the worst character in Mob of the Dead. At the number 18 spot, we have Floyd from Shadows of Evil. Now, he is a pretty interesting character and has a cool background. He is a boxer, which is pretty cool, but he just isn't as good as some of the other characters on Shadows of Evil. Obviously, he's much better than Jessica Rose. Everybody's better than Jessica Rose. But he is just not as interesting as other characters in Shadows of Evil. He just isn't as funny, and I don't really like actually playing as him that much. Plus, his ritual is a pain in the ass. I hate his ritual in Shadows of Evil. It is such a hard ritual. His ritual, the boxing ring ritual, is probably the hardest ritual in Shadows, at least for me. At number 17, we have Richard Nixon. Now, this is our U.S. president. Pretty cool to actually be able to play as U.S. president. So, playing as Richard Nixon and JFK is a lot of fun, but it's definitely much better to play as JFK than Richard Nixon. There's much better characters on 5 than Richard Nixon. JFK and Fidel, I think, are the 2 best characters on 5 by far. They're badass characters and they're very interesting characters. Richard Nixon is still a great character, but just not nearly as good as those 2. Next up, we have another character from Call of the Dead, and this character is Robert. Don't really know much of him, but I have played as him a bit when I actually did play Call of the Dead, and I did find him much better to play as than Michael and Danny, so that is why he is higher than them, but honestly, I don't really know much of him, so I can't really say much. At the number 15 spot, we have Stuhlinger from the Transit Crew. Now, I don't find him a bad character at all. He's actually a really good character, but there's much better characters out there than Stuhlinger, so that's why he's super high on this list. But honestly, he is a great character. I like his appearance. I like what he's wearing. He does look pretty cool. I do actually like what he's wearing. I actually do like playing with him. I like his quotes a lot. He has a lot of great quotes. Some facts you actually didn't know about Stuhlinger. Apparently, his favorite food is cheese, and he actually really hates salad. Stuhlinger also actually apparently lost one of his big toes in a shotgun accident. I don't really know how this happened, but apparently he lost one of his big toes in a shotgun accident. That's pretty badass. He's a pretty badass character, and I do really like him, but again, there are other characters out there in zombies that are much more better than him, so that is why he's super high on this list. At number 14, we have Sal from Mob of the Dead. Now, when I look at Finn O'Leary and Al Arlington, they're great characters. I really love playing as them. I find them super interesting characters, but when I look at Sal, he's just not like that. I find him kind of annoying, and when I play Mob of the Dead, I'd much rather play as Finn O'Leary or Weasel. I do not want to play as Sal. He's not a terrible character, but I just rather not play as him. At number 13, we are going with the final Call of the Dead character, and that character is Sarah. Now, I think Sarah is definitely the best character on Call of the Dead. She's the only character that I actually know things about, and she's the only character that I actually like on Call of the Dead. She is the only character that I want to play as when I'm playing Call of the Dead. When I'm playing Call of the Dead, if I ever get Michael, Robert, or Danny, I really want to quit. They piss me off. I do not like them at all. But Sarah is a character that I actually do like playing as. Because of that, she is higher up on this list than Danny, Robert, and Michael. She is definitely the best character in Call of the Dead. At the number 12 spot, we have the one and only classic character, Takeo Masaki. Honestly, I hate putting him this high up on the list. I actually do really enjoy him. But similar to a lot of other characters on this list, there's a lot of other characters out there that are much better than him, but he is honestly an awesome character. Ultimus Takeo wasn't really the best. Back in BO1, I really did not want to actually play as him. I would much rather play as Richtofen or Nikolai, just because, you know, I found them hilarious back in the day. I did not want to play as Takeo. I didn't mind Dempsey, but Takeo I just really didn't want to play as. In BO3, it's a different story. He is a great character, and I love playing as him. And in Revelations, his katana is a beast, and I wish it was in more maps. He's one of the most known characters of all time. He's a classic character. So, like I said before, I do hate putting him this high up in the list. He's at the number 12 spot. That kind of sucks. I would love to put him in the top 10, but there's much better characters out there than Takeo. But Takeo is still a beast, a badass character, and I really enjoy playing as him. Next up, we have Weasel from Mob of the Dead. Now, Weasel is definitely one of the best characters in Mob of the Dead. Not the best, but he's definitely one of the best. I'd much rather play as Weasel than Sal and Billy, but there are some things about the Weasel that I don't really like. I do find him kind of annoying at times, but that's not really a big deal. He's still a great character, and he's definitely deserving of this spot. We're already at the number 10 spot. I cannot believe we're at the number 10 spot, but coming in at the number 10 spot, we have JFK from 5. Being able to play as JFK is honestly awesome. Everybody knows who he is, especially in America. He is this interesting character, and actually being able to play as the US president is awesome. JFK, especially just because, you know, the history of JFK, it is actually pretty cool to be able to actually play as JFK in 5. He's definitely one of the best characters in 5, and he's definitely deserving to be in the top 10. He also has some great quotes. JFK is a great player to play as. Next up, we have Finn O'Leary, and Finn O'Leary is a great character. He's the best character in Mob of the Dead. At least I think he's the best character in Mob of the Dead. He has this badass background to him. Like, Finn O'Leary has this badass background. Not only that, but his name, Finn O'Leary, is a great name to have. I find it sticks in your head. It's just a pretty cool name to actually have, and he's honestly a great character, and he is definitely deserving of this spot. Moving on to the number 8 spot, we have Tank Dempsey. Similar to Takeo, he's obviously one of the most known characters of all time. He's definitely a classic character. Der Eisendrache is one of the best maps of all time, and obviously Dempsey is very important to Der Eisendrache. So I'm happy that Dempsey's map in BO3, Der Eisendrache, is a great map. Ultimus Dempsey was just this badass character that I enjoyed playing as. Now, I do remember him making fun of Takio or Richthofen a lot in his quotes. I'm not really sure which one it was. It might have been both of them, but I do remember Dempsey, you know, always making fun of either Takio or Richthofen, and I remember laughing so hard hearing some of these quotes. I was a little kid, but I remember laughing my ass off when I was listening to some of Dempsey's quotes. He definitely had some of the best quotes back in the day. Dempsey is such a great character, and I really enjoy the Derizen Jack Easter egg. It's definitely one of the best eggs of all time. At number 7, we have Jackie Vincent. Now, this name alone, Jackie Vincent, is such a unique name, and it's kind of hard to actually get out of your head. It's a great name to actually have. Jackie Vincent is definitely one of the best characters in Shadows of Evil, and when I play Shadows, I either try to get him or Nero because I actually really like them. Jackie Vincent's ritual is probably the easiest ritual in the whole game. It's not like Floyd's, it's not like the boxing ring, it's a very easy ritual to actually do, and I actually like that. At the number 6 spot, we have Fidel from 5. Now, being able to play as Fidel is honestly pretty cool. Fidel is definitely the best character on 5, and I do find it pretty interesting actually seeing Fidel with 3 other Americans and 2 other American presidents on the same map. I mean, you know, obviously Cuba and the USA didn't really have the best relationship back in the day, so it's pretty interesting to actually see them together in one map. He's definitely the best character on 5, and he's overall a great character, definitely deserving of the number 6 spot. At number 5, we're going with Misty. She's a great character, definitely one of the most well-known in zombies. She is this badass character, definitely one of the best in the Transit group. She is way, way better than Marlton and Stuhlinger. She's a great, great character to actually be playing as. At the number 4 spot, we are going with another Transit crew member, and this is Russman. Personally, I rather play as Russman than Misty. Just seeing this old man in, you know, zombies is actually pretty interesting. Seeing this badass old man, you know, shooting zombies and doing his thing is honestly pretty cool to see. He's such an interesting character. He's such a unique character. He's definitely the best character out of the whole Transit crew, at least I think. And when I'm playing Diarize, Barry, Transit, when I'm playing the maps that he's on, I always try to play as Russman or Misty, but I always try to get Russman just because he's a hilarious character and I really enjoy playing as him. At the number 3 spot, we have Nero. Now, this guy is just absolutely awesome. He's the most interesting character out of the whole Shadows of Evil crew. He definitely is the most interesting character. He definitely is the best dressing character. I mean, his attire is pretty badass. He does look pretty good in what he's wearing. If you're ever trying to do a Shadows of Evil Easter egg speedrun on solo, always make sure you actually play as Nero, just because when you're Nero, you don't really have to run around the map as much. It just makes things a lot easier. Moving on to the number 2 spot, we have Nikolai. Ultimus Nikolai is great. Primus Nikolai is great. They're all super great. Now, Ultimus Nikolai did have a lot of funny quotes back in the day. Nikolai is definitely known for his quotes. I mean, he had some of the best quotes in all of zombies back in the day. Back in BO1, whether he was talking about his wife's or vodka, whatever he was talking about, his quotes were absolutely hilarious. Plus, Garad Crovy is a great map and has a great Easter egg, but I think the best part about Nikolai is the fact that he's Russian. I mean, his accent is so unique, and back in the day, his accent went super good with the quotes and just made it 10 times more funny. Nikolai is such a classic character, and if one day Zombies is over, Nikolai will always be remembered as this hilarious character and this badass character that everybody likes. So coming in at the number 1 spot on this list, coming in at the best character of all time, this is going to have to go to Richthofen. Now, Richthofen is definitely the most popular character of all time, at least I think. I mean, people who aren't really big fans of zombies, people who play zombies every once in a while, they don't know much about the storyline, they don't know much about the characters, they do know usually who Richthofen is. Everybody knows who Richthofen is. He's such a, you know, popular character in the gaming world. He's also a hilarious character as well. Back in BO1, he had some great quotes that I'll never forget. Awesome quotes. He's definitely known for his quotes, similar to Nikolai. BO3, he doesn't really have the funny quotes as much, but he's still a great character in BO3 as well. I'm excited to see what happens to Richthofen in the next Terror game. I'm excited to see what happens to all the characters that are actually involved in this next Terror game. It's going to be awesome. Richthofen, I hope, you know, he has some more badass things to say, more badass quotes in the next Terror game, and I hope he just continues being this awesome character. Richthofen is definitely deserving of the number 1 spot. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash a like, but if you guys didn't enjoy the video, please don't dislike it, and please don't write hateful things in the comments. But if you guys did, smash a like, and honestly, I want to hear your guys' list. So write down in the comments below what your list is for all playable characters ranked from worst to best. But again, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Delby, and I'll see you guys in the next one.